present. This is a book by a friend of mine and also a previous feature here, G.L. Morrison. And we did a book launch for her at Boca here in town on Valentine's Day. It's a great book. It's from a press called Headmistress Press. And I brought some of their postcards. I think you might be interested. Anyway, there was a poem in this book that I just thought was really great. So I want to share that with you to start. It's called Love's Perspective, and then in parentheses, we are like bugs. We are like bugs who live only a season. This grass which has been green my whole life will stay green. Green is all grass is. The tree must be older than the dirt which is forever kicked this way and that. Even beetles track or burrow, push the dirt along. The tree is a monument to its own immutability. What could move it? Stars are young as bottle flies. They go out every time I close my eyes. They were born with and will die with me. Who's to say they won't? You have to take their textbook word that mountains remember a million years. I've only known them for 30. Although Grandma's always known them, and she's almost a million years old. She's been wrong about so many things before. What does it mean to say forever? How long will I love you? I am barely old enough to understand the movement of trees. If I could, I would measure you out behind me. Let's not count by the days that have yet to come. I would love you a whole day in kindergarten. I remember how long that was. G.L. Morrison. So that's my way of reading a good poem, supporting a friend, supporting a small press. There's a lot of great small presses in the Northwest, and we should support them with our dollars when we can. So, let me take a quick look here. Yeah, what I'm going to do is, I have to look at this carefully. Yeah, I believe that we have one person who was here with us last time, who signed up tonight, who was not able to read because of the length. I mean, I think that was some kind of a record, I think, last time. And I might have lost count, it was such a record. I think we did 30 plus the feature, so that's not happened in the whole 10 years of interviewing. And yeah, so I'm okay with the fact that things feel like they're going to be just a tiny bit mellower this evening. So yeah, so I'd like to invite that person up first, so we're already messing with the list just a tiny bit. I'm drawing an arrow for you. Let's please welcome the very patient Ken Price.
Hi, is this broadcasting out to the far reaches?
Of the universe?
We can hear you now.
We can hear you over here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I was going to be going first. I would have been more scared about coming here. I got a couple poems that I wanted to recite. And the first one, just to give you an idea of what to expect, it starts out in the old days and kind of meanders into timeless territory and ends up at the coast. It's called A Vision You Discover. You were riding on a rainbow bus with Fillmore posters on the wall. You believed, dear Lord, in peace and love. I knew no peace at all. Some called me a derelict, but I was just a bum. I was running from my shadow. You were shining like the sun. Does a vision you discover make it easier to find? Does a love that lasts forever have to last for a long time? Does a vision you discover make it easier to find? Does a love that lasts forever have to last for a long time? The moonlit river glistened while we listened to its poem. The mountain is my mother, but the ocean is my home. While going where I'm coming from, I've learned what can't be known. You'll never understand the words, but you'll recognize the tone. A wave becomes a wave no more when it crashes on the sand. Part of the wave remains ashore when it pulls back from the land. A wave becomes a wave no more when it crashes on the sand. Part of the wave remains ashore when it pulls back from the land. San Francisco called you, but I feared my city waves. You said you'd meet me on the coast. I knew you'd have to stay. Like a cloud formed from the ocean, I could grasp what I can't reach. Your heart beats through the nightfall, a breaker on my beach. Does a vision you discover make it easier to find? Does a love that lasts forever have to last for a long time? A wave becomes a wave no more when it crashes on the sand. Part of the wave remains ashore. That's the end. Thank you. So this next poem, I don't have as good a synopsis of it, but it's kind of about time and telephone. And I found when I recite a poem, it helps me if I can remember the first line, and then if I say the first line a lot of times, I can remember the second line. So, and if I can't remember the first line, then I kind of just talk. until it comes to mind.
You should run for office.
So this one's called The Nick of Time. I stopped a bleeding minute in the nick of time. Though the hands held steady, a nervous tick was a sign. The seconds ran like teardrops off the edge of the face. The hour was approaching. Its continuum was space. A finger searched my pocket and stopped on a dime. I asked the operator for a reason, for a rhyme. She said, "Thank you for the money, honey. You used to ring the chime. But the dial tone is out on loan. You'll have to walk the line." Now, while I was talking to Michelle Maubel, found ink at the bottom of a well. So I tried writing letters for a spell, but all the T's I crossed got mad as hell. I had not forgotten about saving time. I knew that a spare would be hard to find. So I set my watch back behind a jar, collected wasted hours at the corner bar. Then Michelle said she'd help me with my load if I could decipher the area code. But hanging me up seemed to be her mode. So I grabbed my hammer and I hit the road. And that's the end of that.
Nice to see Ken again. Ken was came over to when we were at the old location. I covered quite a few times, and I always enjoyed hearing your stuff. So it's nice to have you here again with us. Thank you. Herb, were you on the list last month?
No.
No. Do you have a poem folded up in your pocket? Because you were with us and you were here for some of the time, and then we didn't. You know, I'm trying to catch up with people that might have gotten passed over last time. Do you have something that you want to share with us?
No, I didn't bring anything.
Okay. All right.
She's got some.
Well, let's put it this way. If you have something that you want to share next time, we'll get you during the first half to make up for it. I know that your patience is appreciated.
I'm not a patient. There used to be a patient, but I got over it.
All right.
You got the deal.
Yes, I got here.
So next we're going to hear from April Bullard, and I've said this many times, but there are a couple of people that maybe you're new or maybe don't know this, that these the paintings that are behind you here are April's. So other than being a good poet here, she's also an illustrator and a painter. So yes, right? April Bullard.
Can't help it. I'm on cloud 9 today. My first book is published. It's out.
Oh.
It's a children's book.
How much is it?
It's at createspace.com. It's $12.99. It's a children's book. I did all the illustrations inside.
Wow.
And it's all rhyming with the rhyming poem. And I'd like to read you it. Yay! The Sock Thief. No lie, because there I was, face to face with a startled sprite, half in and half out of the dryer, clutching my sock with all my might. Come on, let go, it's mine, you know, I yelled at the elf in the dryer. With flashing eyes, he said, not wise to brand me a thief or a liar. Without consent, there I went, through the back like a cork from a bottle. Down I dropped with a belly flop, tried to stand but only wobbled. Sit down, he said with a frown. Right here, I collapsed in the chair. Soft as a kitten, upholstered in mittens, but none of them matched, not one pair. My eyes opened wide. It was dark inside this cave beyond the back of the dryer. Without a clue, I whispered, "Who?" Jehoshaphat, Chew Rum Barrel, Esquire. Quick as a wink, or was it a blink? Every candle was lit in the chamber. 100 flames flickered. The nimble elf snickered. Your sock is my fee or retainer. How exciting. What debt is due? What do I owe you? I asked the shabbily dressed elf. He looked down his nose. For one, I suppose, you can find your way home by yourself? There I sat, while the impish pack rat, with a flourish, held out his hand. May I inquire, my dear esquire, why my sock? I don't understand. Don't think me snooty, it's my solemn duty, 100 humans to guide and guard. If a candle goes out, I'm up and about to divert, delay, or retard. Look at this key, he said with glee, one of 30 on my chandelier. When this was lost, the delay it caused meant he missed a car accident, my dear. He sang and danced, with pride he pranced, telling tales of his curious treasures. Though it's my duty, a little booty repays my security measures. A missing glove can lead to love, or simple act of generosity. Some will savor that tiny favor, opening doors of opportunity. Around and around he leapt and bound, juggling flip-flops, hammers, and pens, coffee cups, balls, homework, and dolls, trinkets collected to make amends. Wait, I thought, I was taught heavenly angels guarded my way. Jehoshaphat fell over flat, rolling and laughing to my dismay. What makes you so great you think you rate even one angel, all of your own? Come on, get real, here's the deal. Elves do a better job, it's well known. A candle went out with an instant pout. The sprite spryly sprang to his feet. The sock, my dear, it's time, I fear, we must beat a hasty retreat. I gave him my sock, and then we walked to the end of the horrid cluttered hall. Then said the squire, my dear, I desire token payment, a trifle, something small. What about my sock? I said with a squawk. He shook his head. That's unrelated. That little notion will set in motion an adventure that's best left unstated. I went through my pockets, all empty sockets. Rum Barrel said with a devilish grin, just something small to add to my haul, a ticket stub, a coin, or bobby pin. Come on, Paige. Resigned with a shrug, I gave him a hug and a sincere thankful kiss on the cheek. His ears turned red, and then he said, bon voyage, or farewell, so to speak. He touched his ear. A dryer door appeared, gleaming white on the craggy cave wall. He opened it wide. I climbed inside. The door shut, and I started to crawl. Not my fault, a somersault put me back on the laundry room floor. Slightly confused, but quite amused. Folding clothes, now my primary chore. When I was done, there was just one lonely stocking without any mate. The other, I fear, will never appear. So this curious sock holds my fate.
Thank you, April. And I don't know if there are other people here that are working on children's books, but if you are, one of the things to be aware of is that if you're able to get a children's book published, they usually do not want you to illustrate it yourself. And even if you've come up with amazing powerhouse illustrations, they will try to pair you with some other artist. So the way around that, if you're someone as talented and wonderful as April is to do it through something like CreateSpace, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, seeing some kind of second-rate, junky illustrations in your poem or book that you worked so hard on all those years, you know? Yeah, I think that's cool. I hope a lot of people buy that book.
Thanks.
Yeah, next we're going to hear from Rhonda Grace. Come on up, Rhonda.
Okay, I have a little short one, but it is fairly new since the end of February. It's called Play My Song. I create and play my song. I walk the notes, I dance the lyrics, I twirl round every curve of my life. My music, my story is all mine to tell. This is my voice singing the notes of my life. This is my love. This is my heart. This is my body. I give you my heart to the one that cherishes and respects my song, my life, my story. I invite you to play my song and sing with me a duet. We walk the notes, we dance the lyrics, tore around every curve of this our life, our music. This, our story, is ours to tell. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It would be good to take my glasses.
If you want to have fun with the host, and Mickey knows about this already, you write down a pseudonym and then watch them fumble as they try to pronounce it. Okay, we are now going to hear from Après La Pluie. Are you out there, Mr. La Pluie?
So I haven't been able to write poems, just songs which are like poems, but like 3 times as pretentious.
Now with even more pretension.
Do you want me to play quietly because there's a
No,
because I sometimes I
rock out.
okay. So I might play 3 depending on how brave I get. And the first one is drawn out, and the second one is short and catchy, and the third one is going to make you feel all really fucking awkward. Okay, so yeah. Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. I put that record on again. I watch the plastic and its frenzied spin. Oh, Polly boy, sing with me. Tell me all about how it used to be, about the sparrows and those tall, tall oak trees. And rain is falling from the sky, like every single day that has ever passed us by. My shoes are soaking wet again, but I want to know more about you and what it is that life has given you to. Did you have to commit any crime? Because this thing that we call life is more like a string of sacrifice, and as we all pass our time, we slowly lose the brightness of our eyes. And the coffee's cold again, and my head simply will not stop its spin. It's days like these where I'm sure I might die. So I held your hand and you held mine. We counted cars simply to pass the time, balancing books on the notches of my spine. And I told a story, you told too. Nothing I could say would make me sound as cool as you. So it's back to the drawing board again. Because no matter how hard we try, we fall asleep and everything passes us by. I'll take some drugs to become an insomniac, but I'm sure that it does not work like that. You wore no jacket, but you bore the storm. I went with you in an attempt to keep you warm. We were just kids doing what stupid kids do. So I lit a cigarette, I lit another in an attempt to forget these things we do to stop breathing before our time. And I kissed you softly and I hope that you weren't scared. I was so quiet that you barely knew I was there. Get on that train and never look back. And it's the crazy things we do when you're convinced that the clocks had come after you. We're fucked up and falling through the cracks. So we attack and then we counterattack. We're fucked up and falling through the cracks. So we attack and then we counterattack.
Woo! That's thrown out.
Wow.
This is the catchy. Okay, I always play it too fast. I start slow and then I play fast and then I. Okay, so I sympathize with those sad, sad songs by sad, sad people who have bad, bad days, because I know from experience we can wake up in a bad way. And I love you in a sad, sad way, because my stupid heart is in a bad, bad place. And silly, like some silly phrase to convey my stupid heartbreak. And I think that I can be someone that you can love, but I am pretty goddamn sure that I could never be enough to keep you entertained or excited in any way. And I know that you can be someone that I can love, because I write them songs like this. And I prophesize a sad, sad day where sad things happen in a bad, bad way, that people who all already trapped in their sad, sad brains like me. And it's crazy, in a crazy way, thinking sad, sad things every sad, sad day all the same, but it seems like some people are born with stars in very bad places. And I think that I can be someone that you can love, but I am pretty goddamn sure that I could never be enough to keep you entertained or excited in any way. And I know that you can be someone that I can love, because I write those songs like this. This is one that's going to make you all feel happy. So this is when I kind of yell. So, and it's a breakup song. So, yeah.
Who's not allowed yelling in here? That never happens.
So forgive my terrible voice. Okay. I'm sweaty, so my guitar pick keeps falling out of my hand. Don't even really play with them, but whatever. So okay. So I was sick waiting out the storm, so I went outside on my own. And I was stuck inside of my head. I spent so much time wishing I was dead, till I was almost dead. And we were living in the same home, but sleeping next to you I felt so alone. And I wrote so many goddamn poems, but believe they were nothing but tried and cheap. They were tried and cheap. And I'm sorry that it took me so long to finally get the goal to drop the bomb. But this has been coming for a long time. But I guess it's you can still look like the bad guy. The bad guy. But I will not try to deny that it's true. Yes,
Mr. LePluie's good friend, Brett Jorgensen, wrote this really cool chapbook called
It really
Honest
is.
as a Noun, and there's one copy left here at the store, so I decided I would wave it at you in case anyone wanted to go home with it tonight.
Après le pluie is French for after the rain.
Thank you. And next we're going to hear from the person who will be our feature next month and is also among the cavalcade of MCs that I'm always referring to, M.
Thank you. Chris forgot to say that I will be joined by his wonderful co-host, Tony, to help me with the reading next month, in April. This one's sort of, the ink's still wet on it, so I thought I'd bring it here and share it with you guys, because you're always such an open and welcoming crowd. To give you some sort of background, when I was trying to talk to my parents about going into assisted living and those kinds of facilities, it's always a difficult conversation, and they don't want to go. And I was talking to a friend, and he said, you know why they don't want to go? And I said, no. And he said, well, you know what they call nursing homes? And I said, no. And he said, they call them God's waiting room. So that sort of inspired this title and this poem. It's called Open Sailing on God's Waiting Room. We captains gathered at the dining table are more hollow-eyed than the shipwrecked. This is just her attempt to get more fiber in her diet, Marilyn says, easing out the paper napkin stuffed in her mother's mouth. And we laugh. We're allowed to laugh in here, not out there. Somewhere out there, a mother is interrupting Thanksgiving dinner to tell her daughter that her new purse looks like a donkey's feed bag, which is good, really, because it goes so well with that jackass she dragged home. And we're envious. When Dad was on life support, Joan says, the doctor said, unfortunately, we know more about keeping bodies alive than helping them die. Like this was supposed to comfort me? Her palm moving in soothing circles on the back of the woman begging anyone to take her to Indio, California, late for her autumn wedding, 1951. Often on our watch, they'd float off, leaving us with that stomach going up in an elevator going down feeling until they were found. Now we could pinpoint their tiny rubber rafts in miles of open water, and it's worse. Linda's turned down mouth is a signal flag. She says, Miss Turner called to inform me my mother and a male resident were found in bed together being sexually inappropriate. I said, sleeping peacefully? She said, no, sexually inappropriate. I said, no, it's sleeping peacefully, or I can't sleep peacefully. Then I hung up on her. The rest of us are bobbing boys, nods reverberating around the table. From the far horizon comes, Christ, my mother doesn't even like pumpkin pie. This isn't even her blouse. It's Dawn, swabbing the sleeve of the woman who's used her hand as a freighter for her pie, and his. He's a new recruit. We call their traded wardrobes going shopping, and we've asked for locks on their closets for years. This woman who has left an empty seat next to me is now beached beside the electric fireplace, petting a metal sculpture of a crane, sharing coordinates not even birds can translate. This woman who has mutinied the body of my mother, killed my mother. I tell no one I paid her. There are some things we can't say, even in here. Thank you.